that I'd come back, I knew it from the start. 8 more miles to Louisville, the hometown of my heart. Yes, 8 more miles to Louisville, the hometown of my heart. Listen to what Mama said. If I had listened to what Mama said. If I had listened to what Mama said, I'd have been sleeping in a feather bed. All my sins been taken away, taken away. Oh, hand me down my walking cane. Hand me down my walking cane. Hand me down my walking cane. I'm gonna leave on a midnight train. All my sins been taken away, taken away. Yonder comes a man across the field. Yonder comes a man across the field. Yonder comes a man across the field, kicking up dust like an automobile. All my sins been taken away, taken away. Oh, hand me down my walking cane. Yes, hand me down my walking cane. Hand me down my walking cane. I'm gonna leave on a midnight train. All my sins been taken away, taken away. Well, all my sins been taken away, taken away.
Down to Ricksville town, I met an old man and his name was Brown. He said, you can sleep at my shanty-o, but you'll have to sleep with the baby-o. When I got there, I was froze to death, and I didn't want to smell no baby's breath.
Why don't you let me be? Don't know why you keep on haunting me. Love was never meant for me. True love was never meant for me. Seems somehow we never did agree. So many I can't see. Years don't mean a thing to me. Time goes by and still I can't be free. Blue, stay away from me. Blue, why don't you let me be? Don't know why you keep on haunting me. Stay away from me. Blues, why don't you let me be? Don't know why you keep on haunting me.
his day's work is done, and he rounds up the cattle each fall. Singing his cattle call. For hours he would ride on the range far and wide, when the night winds blow up and squall. His heart is a feather, in all kinds of weather. He sings his cattle call. He's brown as a berry from riding the prairie, and he sings with an old western drawl. Singing his cattle call.
leaving the place at 18, run away with the jobless Beaumont man. Hitchhike out of California and make a life in the Rocky Mountain land. So if you're passing on your way from Palm Springs to LA, give a wave to good old Dave. Say hello to progress and goodbye to the moonlight motoring. Sun goes down behind the freeway, then sets down by the dried up swimming pool. Can't make the payments on the mortgage, can't turn the red ink into blue. The weeds are growing through the gravel, and the blacktop's cracked and hardly washed away. Our neon sign points in the wrong direction. Moonlight motoring goes down the day. So if you're passing on your way from Palm Springs to LA, give a wave to good old Dave. Say hello to progress and goodbye to the moonlight motoring. Give a wave to good old Dave. Say hello to progress and goodbye to the moonlight motoring.
Dance all night with a bottle in my hand, a bottle in my hand, a bottle in my hand. Dance all night with a bottle in my hand, yeah, before they get the fiddler drowned. I left my jawbone sitting on a fence. I ain't seen nothing on my jawbone since. Walk up on, Jenny, get along. In comes Sally with the big boots on. Who's been here since I've been gone? A pretty little gal with a red dress on. She took it off and I put it on. In comes Sally with the big boots on.
I don't have time to go wash my hands, do I? Do I have time to go wash my hands? No? Okay.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Club Possum Music Show. We're coming to you live from the Mountain View Meeting Place, just off the Court Square in beautiful downtown Mountain View, Arkansas, in the Ozark Mountains. Club Possum is broadcast on the Mountain View Meeting Place YouTube channel, the Mountain View Meeting Place Facebook page, and our local radio station, KWMV 88.5 FM. The Club Possum Music Show is a production of Ozark Roots Music and Art, which is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to preserving the local music culture here in the Mountain View area. Further support for Ozark Roots Music and Art is provided in part by the Arkansas Arts Council and the agency of the Department of Arkansas Heritage and the National Endowment for the Arts. We're also supported by numerous generous donations from our local-owned businesses, especially All Care Home Care, our platinum sponsor, and the many fine Possum patrons that help keep our local music alive and kicking through a regular monthly donation. If you're interested in becoming a Possum patron, please go to www.patreon.com/clubpossum to sign up. Donations are very much appreciated for our performer, and our tip bucket is located in the back next to me, or if you're online, you can send the donation through our secure PayPal gateway at paypal.me/OzarkRootsMusic. And now for our performer, we have a performer tonight who has been a part of this community for a little over 50 years now. He's got a farm, an off-the-grid farm, actually over the mountain over in Fox, Arkansas, and he's been playing music in and around Mountain View for many, many years now, and he's also collected a lot of stories and folk tales about the Ozark Mountains, and I know you're going to enjoy what you hear from him tonight. We please make welcome Mr. Dave Smith.
Team run wild, truck lightning struck. The team run wild, tore up the harness and a brand new plow. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Runaway team, the tent tore down, kicking up dust all the way to town. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Hard times, hard land, try to make a living, but I'll be damned. Drought, heat, and hail tend to get the upper hand. Scratch that ground, pray for rain. Sometimes the trouble ain't worth the pain. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Beans and taters in the shed. If it weren't for that, we wouldn't get fed. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Hard times, hard land, try to make a living, but I'll be damned. Drought, heat, and hail tend to get the upper hand. Scratch that ground, pray for rain. Sometimes the trouble ain't worth the pain. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Wife took sick, got the flu. Lord, the troubles that I've been through. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. 4 kids down, got the mumps. Sometimes life sure hands out the lumps. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Hard times, hard land, try to make a living, but I'll be damned. Drought, heat, and hail tend to get the upper hand. Scratch that ground, pray for rain. Sometimes the trouble ain't worth the pain. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Hey everybody, yep, it's me, Dave Smith. I'm glad to have you all here tonight, and that is you folks who are on the internet, because there's not a soul in Club Possum tonight, so I'm just doing this show for you folks. So I expect everybody's home watching the debate, so what I recommend is turn the sound down on the television and just watch it, and then you can just listen to me, and hopefully it'll be more entertaining. We'll see. Let's see what I got here tonight. Hey, by the way, I'm a storyteller, really, through songs for the most part. Tell a few stories, like Gresham said. But I love songs that tell good stories, and that's what I've got for you tonight. Here's one. You know it as soon as you hear the first few notes. Some folks say a man is made out of mud, another man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood, flesh and bone, a mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in bed. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, bless my soul, you load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in bed. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning, it was drizzle and rain. Fighting and trouble are my middle name. I got one fist of iron, the other of steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. See me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't and a lot of men died. I was raised in a cane brake by an old mama lion. Can't no high-toned woman make me walk the line. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul the company store. Thank you. Oh, here's a good one. Chris, who runs this place, loves this one. And by the way, it's just me tonight. No flashy dancers with sequin outfits or fiddlers that play tunes at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's just I've just generally always worked without a net in my life, through my life, just me on the stage. So if I make a mistake, it's me. All right. This one's written by a great Canadian songwriter named Stan Rogers. He wrote a lot of songs about the sea and such. You know, in the seafaring trade, if there's a ship wrecks and is abandoned, the crew abandons it, then it's free for all for what's on the ship. It's anybody, any salvager that can get there can load up. And this is about a salvage operation on a ship called the Athens Queen. We were drinking down to Reedy's place when first we heard the blow. It seemed to come from Ripper Rock, so boldly forth we go. And sure enough, a rusty tub could just be barely seen. As the turn was high up in the air, we made out Athens Queen. Oh, the lovely Athens Queen. Now, boys, I must remind you, there's a bottle left inside. So let us go and have a few and wait until low tide. And if the sea's not claimed her when the glasses are licked clean, we will then put forth some dories and see what may be seen on the lovely Athens Queen. Some songs and old tall stories then came out to pass the time. Nor would a single bottle keep us all until low tide. And so it was before we left the house we were at sea. I can scarce remember how we made it on the Athens Queen. Oh, the lovely Athens Queen. Now the waves inside me belly were as high as those outside. Nor would a sink, I know I'm never seasick. I lost dinner overside. And good there was no crew to claim, or we'd have scared 'em green. We could scarcely keep ourselves from falling on the Athens Queen. Oh, the lovely Athens Queen. I headed for the galley then, for I was rather dry, and glad I was to get there quick, for what should I espy? Oh, what a shame it would have been to lose it all at sea. 40 cases of the best Napoleon brandy ever seen on the lovely Athens Queen. I loaded 20 cases then and headed for the shore, unloaded them as quick as that and headed back for more. Smith was headed for the shore, but he could scarce be seen under near 200 chickens and a leather couch of green on the lovely Athens Queen. So here's to all good salvagers, likewise to Ripper Rock, and to Napoleon brandy, of which now we have much stock. We eat a lot of chicken and sit on a couch of green, and we wait for Ripper Rock to claim another Athens Queen. Oh, the lovely Athens Queen. Yeah, that's Stan Rogers' song, The Athens Queen. Well, I've got the old banjo here. Let's play something on it. This is an old song written by Uncle Dave Macon. Uncle Dave grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, back in the late 1800s. His parents ran a boarding house in the entertainment district, so there were all these people who played in the vaudeville circuit were always staying there at that place. And he learned a lot about music as a child. His main instrument was the banjo, which I'm going to tune for a minute. Oh. And Uncle Dave started out his life not as a musician, but as a wagoneer. He had a wagon and a team of mules, and he hauled freight all around eastern Tennessee and Kentucky. He was put out of business when trucks started hauling in. Hey, come in. An audience at last. You're it. You have to sit down front. I'm sorry.
You want us down front?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. There's more people coming.
Oh, good.
Never been here before either.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully you all will stay for a little while. We're on the internet, by the way, so we could be famous before the night's over with. Anyway, Uncle Dave, hello. Howdy, come in. I'm glad to have you all here. Move down front. I think there's seats available. That's right. You might want to run for the door. I don't blame you. I'd do the same thing. Doing a song by Uncle Dave Macon, an autobiographical song about how automobiles put wagons out of business. And I'm sure the wagoners felt the same about automobiles as we feel about computers and AI and stuff. And hopefully it'll be gone soon. Anyway, this is a song called Heaven to Hell. I remember the year I began to haul. It was back in the summertime. Back in the good old days with that good whiskey, beer, and wine. I could walk right into any saloon. I was strictly up to time. And I never seen a night when I couldn't make it home and hauled to the end of the line. Been a wagoning for over 20 years and a working on the farm. I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone. Oh, Lord, I tell you, since the bone dry come, you just can't get whiskey that's good. So I give up all of my drinking and I gone to serving God. I love to go to big meetings. I tell you the reason why. I love to sing and pray to God, sweet heaven, when I die. Been a wagoning for over 20 years and a working on the farm. I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone. Now an auto truck's got a driving wheel while I hold my lines. And when my feet and body get cold, I'm a-walking half the time. I can speak right to my power, you know they understand my talk. And when I holler, way, get right, they know just how to walk. Been a-wagoning for over 20 years and a-working on the farm. I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone. Now an auto truck so quick and fast, while a wagon that has no speed. But four good wheels and a but four good wheels and a Mitchell wagon is safest, oh yes indeed. I'm on my way to glory, want to tell you just how I feel. I'd rather go to heaven a-riding in a wagon than to hell in an automobile. Been a-rockin' for over 20 years and a-working on the farm. I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone. Hot dog. Thank you. Gosh, Jim, I just did the Athens Queen. You missed it, yeah.
You started without us?
I did. This is a song back in the early 70s. There were this whole new group of people moved into the Ozarks. In fact, they were the first people to move into the Ozarks in many, many years, because from about 1932 on, people left the Ozarks in droves. But the Back to the Land movement got started back in the early 70s, the hippies, they called them then. And they still call them hippies, although you don't really see them anymore. They're hard to recognize because they're old like me. But there was a guy named Tom Kimmons who bought a beautiful little piece of land down on the Little Red River near Shirley. Built a cabin there and raised his two little girls there along with his wife, and had an idyllic life there. And they were, Tom was a good songwriter, and he wrote this song called Call on Me. I have seen the morning when the sun burst full of colors. It spread radiating life inside the valley where I live. I have climbed the mountaintop and soared beside the red-tailed hawk and gathered all the secrets that the forest cared to give. Call on me when you think that you are free. Come to my home and rest your weary head. Call on me when you think that you are free enough to live the way you said. I have seen the woodlands when the sun burst full of color. It spread radiating life inside the valley where I live. I have swum through pools of gleaming water lined with mossy ferns to kiss my naked lover's warmth and feel her body flow. Call on me when you think that you are free. Come to my home and rest your weary head. Call on me when you think that you are free enough to live the way you said. I have heard the evening when the night sprang live with music. I've harmonized the whippoorwill and I've howled the gray wolf's verse. I have knelt my head down to a pure and bubbling mountain spring and sucked the perfect waters from the bosom of the earth. Call on me when you think that you are free. Come to my home and you can rest your weary head. Call on me when you think that you are free enough to live the way you said. Free enough to live the way you said. Thank you. Hey, howdy, folks. My name's Dave Smith. I'm here tonight, and I'm sure glad you all came. It's hard singing for an empty room. Okay, we're going to have a sing-along in a little while. Well, I dreamed that I had died and gone to my reward, a job in the heavenly textile mill on the Golden Boulevard. And the mill was made out of marble, the machines were made out of gold, and nobody ever grew tired, nobody ever grew old. Well, the mill was made in a garden, no dust or dirt could be found. The air was clean and it smelled so sweet from the trees and the flowers all around. And it was quiet and peaceful in heaven. There never was a rattle or a boom. And we heard the most beautiful music as we worked at the shuttle and the loom. And the mill was made out of marble, the machines were made out of gold, and nobody ever grew tired, nobody ever grew old. And there was no unemployment in heaven, we worked steady all through the year. There always was food for the children, and we were never haunted by fear. And the mill was made out of marble, the machines were made out of gold, and nobody ever grew tired, nobody ever grew old. When I awoke from a dream about heaven, I wondered if there ever would be a place like that down here on earth for people like you and me. And the mill was made out of marble, the machines were made out of gold, and nobody ever grew tired, nobody ever grew old. Thank you. A song that I presume is probably from the Carolinas, where they had the mills back when there were terrible working conditions in the mills all up and down the eastern seaboard. Here's a song by a great songwriter named John McCutcheon. He's still around, still writing great songs. I'll do several of his songs tonight because he's one of my absolute favorite songwriters. And it's interesting because right after I learned this song, I was up in Galesburg, Illinois with my wife. We were traveling through there, and my family's from there originally. We heard about where old Aunt Nell's farm was, and we drove out there just to look at the farm. Of course, somebody else owns it now. And we pulled in, and there was a big oak tree in the yard, and there was a swing, a nice, good swing made out of a couple of ropes hanging there in the yard. And it really struck me because it's got a little bit of that in this song. This song's called Water from Another Time. New mown hay on a July morn, the grandkids are running through the knee-high corn, a sunburned nose and a scabbed up knee from a rope at the white oak tree. Just another dumber day in Grandpa's farm with Grandma's bucket hanging off my arm. You know the old pump's rusty, but it works fine, primed with water from another time. It don't take much, but you gotta have some. The old ways help the new ways come. Leave a little extra for the next in line. Gonna need a little water from another time. Tattered quilt on a goose down bed, every stitch tells a story, my grandma said. Her mama's nightgown and grandpa's pants and the dress she wore to her high school dance. Now grandpa's hands have gone to dust, like grandma's pump reduced to rust. Their stories raise my whole in mind, like water from another time. It don't take much, but you gotta have some. The old ways help the new ways come. Leave a little extra for the next in line. Gonna need a little water from another time. Newborn cry on the morning air. The past and the future are wedded there. In this wellspring of my sons and daughters, the bone and blood of living water. And while grandpa's hands have gone to dust, like grandma's pump reduced to rust, their stories quench my soul and mind, like water from another time. It don't take much, but you gotta have some. The old ways help the new ways come. Leave a little extra for the next in line. Gonna need a little water from another time. Gonna need a little water. Gonna need a little water from another time. Thank you. Oh boy, here's a neat song. One of those songs that it's a really cool song, but I have very little idea what it's all about. You know, Bob Dylan wrote a lot of songs like that. If you look at the words, it's like, what? This is actually a pretty neat song. It was written by Dave Roberts. It's really about dying, is what it's about, which he went ahead and did at the age of about 32. Great songwriter. Come, lonely hunter, chieftain and king, I will fly like the falcon when I go. Bear me, my brother, under your wing. I am struck, fell with lightning when I go. I will bellow like the thunder drum and rout the storm of war. Twisted pillars spun of dust and blood up from the prairie floor. I will drive the fall before me like a gale out on the snow. And the wind will long recount the story, rivers and the glory when I go. Strange spirit dancer, nimble and thin, I will leap like coyote when I go. Tireless entrancer, lend me your skin, I will run like the gray wolf when I go. I will climb the rise of daybreak, I will kiss the sky at noon, yearn my yearning boy at midnight to that brother in the moon. I will make the lee of long defeat and draw the chorus slow. Send this message down the wire and hope someone wise is listening when I go. And when the sun does trumpet from his red house in the east, he will find the standing stone where long I chanted my release. He will send his morning messenger to strike the hammer blow. And I'll shatter down uncountable in showers of crimson rubies when I go. Sigh, mournful sister, whisper and turn. I will scatter like dry leaves when I go. Stand in the mist where my fire used to burn. I will camp on the night breeze when I go. And should you see my wandering form out on the borderline between death and resurrection in the council of the pines, do not worry for my comfort, do not sorrow for me so. All your diamond tears will rise up and adorn the sky beside me when I go. It's called Then I Go. Hey, did y'all have supper? Everybody ate already? Well, good. Because this is a song about food. This is really a neat song. It was written in 1905, and you'd think it was written yesterday. It's a very topical song. In these days of indigestion, it is oftentimes a question of what to eat or what to leave alone. Every microbe and bacillus is trying hard to kill us, and in time they all will claim us for their own. There are germs of every kind in every food that you can find in the market or upon the bill of fare. Drinking water is just as risky as the so-called deadly whiskey, and at times it's a mistake to breathe the air. 'Cause some little bug is gonna find you someday. Some little bug is going to creep inside you someday. Then he'll call for his bug friends, and your troubled times will end. Some little bug is going to find you someday. Now that tasty green cucumber has most everybody's number, while the sweet corn has a system of its own. And the radish looks nutritious, but its behavior is quite vicious, and a doctor will be coming to your home. Eating lobster cooked or plain is only flirting with ptomaine, while the oyster really has a lot to say. And the clams they put in chowder make the angels sing the louder, for they know they will be with you right away. 'Cause some little bug is gonna find you someday. Some little bug is going to creep inside you someday. Eat that spicy bowl of chili, on your breast you'll hold a lily. Some little bug is going to find you someday. When cold storage vaults I visit, I must always ask, what is it makes poor mortals fill their systems with such stuff? For breakfast prunes are handy if a stomach pump is handy, and a doctor can be summoned soon enough. Eat that plate of fine pig knuckles, and the headstone cutter chuckles while the gravedigger makes a mark upon his cuff. Eat that tasty sliced bologna, and you'll wear a wood kimono while your relatives are scrapping for your stuff. 'Cause some little bug is gonna find you someday. Some little bug is going to creep inside you someday. Eat that tasty sliced pineapple, and the sexton dust the chapel. Some little bug is going to find you someday. I promise I'm almost done. Now all those tasty foods they mix will float you across the river Styx, or have you climbing up the Milky Way. And the meals they serve in courses mean a hearse and 2 black horses, so before a meal some people always pray. Grapes breed appendicitis, and the juice leads to gastritis, so there's only death to greet you either way. Fluoride liver's nice, but mind you, friends will follow close behind you, and the newspapers will have nice things to say. 'Cause some little bug is gonna find you someday. Some little bug is going to creep inside you someday. Then he'll call for his bug friends, and your troubled times will end. Some little bug is going to find you someday. Yeah, no kidding. That song's from way back then. Jim, I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Is that you over there, Myron? Yeah. Hi, Myron. Just saying hello. You're not leaving already. You can't get out that door. This is another song. I talked earlier about Stan Rogers, a great Canadian songwriter. Man, just gone too soon, old Stan. He's been dead now for 40 years, I guess. But boy, did he write good songs. And he wrote this song because he wanted to, he was from, by the way, I mentioned earlier, he was from the maritime provinces of Canada. And he wrote this song because he wanted to write, they were doing an album, and he wanted to write a spooky song about druids, the druid ancestry of the people who settled Nova Scotia. Okay? He wrote this song. Cold wind on the harbor and rain on the road. Wet promise of winter brings recourse to cold. There's fire in the blood and a fog on door. The giant will rise with the moon. 'Twas the ancient fever in the Isles of the Blest that our fathers took with them when they went west. 'Tis the blood of the druids that never will rest. The giant will rise with the moon. So crash the glass down, move with the tide. Young friends and old whiskey are burning inside. Crash the glass down, Fingal will rise with the moon. Inclement weather, the people are fey. 10,000-year stories as the night slips away. Remembering Fingal Fields not far away. The giant will rise with the moon. There's a new moon tonight, and the winds in the north. There'll be new moon tonight, but we have no circle to stand in its light. Light a torch, bring the bottle, and build the fire bright. The giant will rise with the moon. So crash the glass down, move with the tide. Young friends and old whiskey are burning inside. Crash the glass down, Fingal will rise with the moon. Thank you. My old brother-in-law Jim here and I have been learning a lot of Stan Rogers songs over the years. They're so great. What a writer. Oh, here's another great song. Another great song by John McCutcheon that I talked about earlier. This is almost the newest song I've learned, I guess, besides that one I just did. Bear with me a moment, please. May have to tune a little bit here. Be all right. It's called Y'all Is All. I remember back, I was 8 or 9 at my grandma's house in the summertime. Every night around 6, in her long sweet drawl, y'all come in, y'all means all. I may not like you, you might not like me. Sometimes that's just the way things are gonna be. Still I'll lift you up if you should fall. 'Cause is where I come from. Y'all means all. Blood is blood, bone is bone, kin is kin, home is home. Makes no difference, I can recall. That makes a difference, y'all means all. It's a southern thing, it's simple etiquette. We treat folks kindly, but sometimes folks forget. They turn plumb mean, Neanderthal. But like my grandma said, y'all means all. Blood is blood, bone is bone, kin is kin, and home is home. It makes no difference, I can recall. That makes a difference, y'all means all. I've heard it said round these parts, we've got troubles, but we've got hearts. Round the table there is a chair where you're always welcome. Set yourself down there. We are not perfect, we know it's true. We're all God's children, we're just me and you. Someday soon we'll heed the call. Y'all come in, y'all means all. Blood is blood, bone is bone, kin is kin, and home is home. Makes no difference, I can recall. That makes a difference, y'all means all. In your Birkenstocks or your overalls, bless your hearts, y'all means all.
Thank you. Howdy, folks. Welcome. My name's Dave Smith. I'm sorry I'm all you get tonight. No dancing girls or guys in spangly suits or anything, just me. But I was just telling people earlier, I'm a storyteller. I like songs that tell good stories. And I also like it that most people have never heard any of the songs that I do. I don't do anything you ever heard on the radio, except I did do 16 Tons a little while back, but there are such great songwriters out there who are writing wonderful songs that you never hear. They don't fit the mold to get in on the radio, so you just never hear them. So let's see what else I got. Oh boy, here's another great song. Pardon me? No, I don't. I do not, but I'll work on it. This is a song. Let's see, who wrote this one? A guy named Bob. A guy named Bob wrote this. And it's about a true story. And I built a barn back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, boy, who never thought we'd be saying that? But way back in the 90s, I built a barn on my farm out at Fox. My two boys were about 10 and 12 then, and that was shop class for their homeschooling. And they learned to bend nails, and they did a great job of it. Nail Bending 101. But right about that time, this great song came along. And I has had to learn it, and I sure hope that wherever my boys end up, and who knows where they'll be, they're off. They went. We gave them too good an education and showed them the rest of the world, and so they're gone. But I hope they come back someday and look at that barn that we helped build, and that's kind of what this song's about. It's called Mr. Beeford's Barn. August 1969, after evening chores, we went to see who stood outside knocking on our door. An old man stood there quietly, his hat held in his hand. He said, "I'd like to have a minute of your time." You see, my dad and I, we built that barn in 1899. He said his name was Beeford as we walked across the field, and he told us how they'd raised the frame without a single nail. Just wooden pegs was all it took to make those timbers stand. Then he said, as his eyes looked far away, "Build it right, and it will last forever and a day." Mr. Beeford's barn still stands on our farm, where it stood 100 years before. Solid as the rock that it was built upon, it will stand 100 years more. Told us how they'd moved down south in 1921, where farming was much easier and the winters not as long. But he'd made a promise to himself to see the barn again once more before his life was done. Then he shook our hands and drove away into the setting sun. Late that night I gazed out of the window by my bed and out across the meadow while the moon shone overhead. The old barn stood there silver like a sentry in the night. Once more I heard the old man say, "Build it right, and it will last forever and a day." Mr. Beeford's barn still stands on our farm, where it stood 100 years before. Solid as the rock that it was built upon, it will stand 100 years more. Solid as the rock that it was built upon, it will stand 100 years more. Thank you. Man, you can't go wrong with good songs like that. Well, let's do this one now. Y'all can help me on this song if you want. It's got a little chorus that goes, ring-di-diddle-i-dee-o, ring-di-diddle-i-o. There, somebody's doing it already. Okay. Ring-da-diddle-i-dee-o, ring-da-diddle-i-o. Then you repeat the last line. So it's easy. A Scotsman clad in kilt left a bar one evening fair. You could tell by the way he walked he'd drunk more than his fare. He staggered out across the street and... I sang this on the way in here tonight. I didn't goof it up. Staggered on the grass. He staggered out upon the grass to sleep beside the street. No, it's not ready to. All right, let's move on to cowboy poem time. All right, good. What, cowboy poems? Oh, this is a good one. I got this from old Glenn Orland, who used to live here in town for many years. Bought a little farm up here, a ranch really, in the 1960s, and a wealth of great cowboy songs and poems. This is where I got this one. What is reincarnation? Said the cowpoke to his friend. His pal replied, it happens when your life has reached its end. They wash your neck and comb your hair and clean your fingernails and lay you in a padded box away from life's travails. The box in you goes in a hole that's been dug in the ground, and reincarnation sets in once you're planted beneath the mound. Now the clods melt down just like the box and you who is inside, but then you're only just beginning on your transformation ride. In a while some grass may grow upon your tendered mound, until one day on your lonely grave a single flower is found. Then say a horse should wander by and graze upon this flower that once was you, but now has become your vegetative bower. Now the posy that the horse ate up along with his other feed becomes bone and fat and muscle, essential to the steed. But there is a part that he can't use, and so it passes through and finally lays upon the ground this thing that once was you. Then say I should wander by, and I find this object on the ground. I ponders and I wonders at this thing that I have found. I think about reincarnation and life and death and such, and come away concluding why you ain't changed all that much. Thank you. This brings us to the cowboy portion of our show here. Have you heard that before? You know that one? No, really? Good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. In fact, we're on the internet here, too, and I told the people when I started here, since there was no one else here, that the thing to do if you're all home watching the debate is just turn the sound down and just listen to me and watch the debate. It'll be a lot less confusing, I hope. Okay. It's like, oh, yeah, cowboy songs. Glenn, this is another one from Glenn. Love this song. Is that right? Yeah. Oh, this is about the old Stetson hat. Filled with alkali, sand, and mud, stained with dirt and crimson blood, battered and bent from constant use, still you withstood the most derned abuse. A close companion through all the years, fanning broncs and longhorn steers. I dedicate this to the old brown lid that the years and the old old hat did. Ah, come on. Carrying oats to a spooky bronc, security for drinks in a honky-tonk. Mistreated and abused on a roundup spree, walked on, tromped on old JB. Fanning a smoldering fire in the cold, panning dirt in search of gold. Pushed up big or knocked down flat, that's been the job of the Stetson hat. Fighting this mold, fighting the fire in a burning shack, stopping up a hole in an open crack. Been everywhere that a hat can go, 48 states and Mexico. Now I've grown old as we've trailed along, but you old hat, you're still a-going strong. Been a good friend through all of that, you dirty old gray Stetson hat. Which just brings us to another cowboy poem. You know, there's a lot of different nomenclature between different parts of the country. They have totally different meaning for things in the East as in the West. So, anyway. The sign upon the cafe wall said, "Oysters, 50 cents. How quaint, the blue-eyed sweetheart said in some bewilderance. I didn't know they served such fare out here upon the plain. Why, sure, her cowboy date replied. They're really quite urbane. I suppose they would be Chesapeake or Blue Point, don't you think? No, ma'am, they're usually Hereford Cross, and usually they're pink. But I've been so cold myself, what you say could be true, and if a man looked close enough, their points might well be blue. She said, I hunt them by myself out on the bay alone. I pluck them from the murky depths and smash them with a stone. The cowboy winced, imagining a calf with her beneath. Me, I use my pocket knife and yank him with my teeth. Oh, you're a brute, an animal. How crude and unrefined. Your casual assertiveness sends shivers up my spine. I prefer a butcher knife, too dull to really cut. I wedge it in between the cracks and crack it like a nut. I pry them out. But sometimes if they give me trouble, I use Grandpa's pruning shears, if that was it. I'm goofing this up, if that's what it requires. The hair stood on the cowboy's head, and his stomach did a whirl. He'd never heard such grisly talk, especially from a girl. I'd like mine fresh, the sweetheart said as she laid her menu down and ordered oysters for them both when the waiter came around. The old cowboy smiled gravely, but the words stuck in his claw, and he finally fainted dead away when she said, I'll have mine raw. Good, thank you, sir. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Here's another true story. This is another one by John McCutcheon, and written, actually, with a true story. One morning while reading the paper, in search of a new set of wheels, the classifieds had a most curious ad in the heading used automobile. I looked with risk, I read with suspicious amusement what seemed like a bad sort of luck. Corvette Stingray, it said, low mileage, bright red, 83 model, $65. Now I was used to my newspaper's typos, but I dialed up that number straight away. About that 83 vet, have you got that thing yet? She said, no, you're my first call today. I said, there's been some mistake in the paper. They printed the price wrong somehow. Oh no, replied she, they got that from me. I said, don't sell that car, I'm leaving now. Her address was in a part of the city that I'd been to just one time or two, where doctors, bank presidents, and lawyers are residents, and the houses are stylish and new. As I turned up the half-mile driveway, there in the heat of the day, in the sunlight it gleamed, the car of my dreams, just $65 away. The interior was done in bright leather. It had a 487 V8, gull wingspan doors, Hurst 4 on the floor, and its 8-channel CD was great. There was chrome on the chrome of the fenders, an aerodynamic design, a bar, a TV. It was boggling to me that for $65 it was mine. Now I knew that this woman must be crazy, sell off that car at such price, but she seemed perfectly sane. As we strolled down the lane, she was charming and really quite nice, and she smiled with such great satisfaction as she handed me title and keys. I said, I've just got to know why you're letting it go. What's wrong with this car? Tell me, please. She said, I've lived here
said, I missed a line. I lived here with my husband Earl till after 80 years wed, 60 years wed. Without a word said, he ran off with a young teenage girl. But with the credit cards left here behind him, I knew that he couldn't get far. Last night from Florida, he sent a wire to me, said, I need money, dear, sell the car. I'm sorry, I messed that one up. Hey, I've been at it for an hour here now. I'm going to take a little break for about 15 minutes. Gresham made enough popcorn for a full audience, so we sure want to eat some popcorn tonight. Gresham McMillan, by the way, is running sound and everything else back there. He's the popcorn maker as well. Let's take a break for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back. This is your chance to run for the door, too. So.
corn and taters, hungry every minute of the day. Roly-poly, gnawing on a biscuit, long as he can chew it, it's okay. He can eat an apple pie, never even bat his eye. He likes everything from soup to hay. Roly-poly, daddy's little fatty, bet he's gonna be a man someday. Scrambled eggs for breakfast, bread and jelly 20 times a day. Roly-poly eats a hearty dinner, takes a lot of strength to run and play.
I usually stand up, but I'm down in the back right now, so sitting down works better. Well, let's see what I've missed. Oh, there's a good one. Let's see. Actually, you know, we're off the internet now, right? No. What? You told me it was 1 hour. No. Okay. All right. I was going to repeat a song, but I guess I could do that anyway. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do this poem now. Remember, y'all are going to sing with me on the little chorus. A Scotsman clad in kilt left a bar one evening fair. You could tell by the way he walked he'd drunk more than his share. He staggered round until he could no longer keep his feet. Then he stumbled up into the grass to sleep beside the street. A ring-da-diddly-i-dee-o, ring-da-diddly-o. He stumbled up into the grass to sleep beside the street. About that time, 2 young and lovely girls were passing by. One said to the other with a twinkle in her eye, "See yon sleeping Scotsman, so strong and handsome built. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt. Ring-da-diddly-i-dee-o, ring-da-diddly-o. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt." They crept up on the Scotsman just as quiet as could be, and lifted up his kilt about an inch so they could see. And there, behold, to their surprise, beneath his Scottish skirt was nothing more than God had granted him upon his birth. A ring-da-diddly-i-dee-o, ring-da-diddly-o. Nothing more than God had granted him upon his birth. They marveled for a moment, then one said, "We must be gone. Let's leave a present for a friend before we move along." And as a gift they tied a blue silk ribbon in a bow. Around the bonny star the Scotsman kilt did lift and show. A ring-da-diddly-i-dee-o, ring-da-diddly-o. Around the bonny star the Scotsman's kilt did lift and show. The Scotsman wakes to nature's call and stumbles towards a tree. Behind a bush he lifts his kilt and gasps at what he sees. And in a startled voice he says to what's before his eyes, "A lad, I don't know where you been, but I see you won first prize." A ring-da-diddly-i-dee-o, ring-da-diddly-o. A lad, I don't know where you been, but I see you won first prize. Oh, let's see where I do this one here. I've got a little list over here that tells me what key these songs are in. Otherwise, I would have no idea. Ah, there it is. Oh, yeah, good. This is a good old song from New Mexico, old cowboy song, written around the turn of the century, about 1900. A little explanation about this for you non-cowboys. Ciego is the slicker that a cowboy would roll up and have behind his saddles in case it come a rainstorm. He can put it on, kind of a raincoat. And when they brand the calves, they go out and they look for these calves in the end of the summer, the calves that have been born over the summer, and they mark them. They will brand them, but a lot of times they just mark their ears. They have different notches they cut out of the ears so they know who it belongs to. So that's a little explanation there. Must be cheese. Way out yonder in the Sierra Peaks where the yellow jack pines grow tall, Buster Jiggs and Sandy Bob had a roundup late last fall. Well, they taken their horses and their cutting irons and maybe a dog or two, and they rounded up every old long-eared calf what come into their view. Any old calf with long lopped ears that didn't brush up by day had his long ears chiseled and his old hide sizzled in a most artistic way. One fine day, old Sandy Bob, he throwed his Ciego down. He said, "Boys, I'm tired of this cowography. I think I'll head for town." So they saddled up and hit out at a lope, for there weren't no sign of a ride. Them was the days when a good cowpoke could oil up his insides. Yahoo! Well, they started out at the Kentucky bar at the head of Whiskey Road, and they wound up down at the depot house about 40 drinks below. Then they headed up and they turned around and headed back the other way. I'll tell you the God-forsaken truth, them boys got stewed that day. As they was heading back for camp, packing them a pretty good load, who should they meet but the devil himself just prancing down the road. He said, "Look out, ornery cowboy skunks, you better hunt your holes, 'cause I'm the devil from Hell's Rim Rock, come to gather up your soul." Well, Sandy Bob said, "Devil be danged, we boys is kind of tight. Before you corral any cowboy souls, you'll have some kind of a fight." So Sandy Bob punched a hole in his rope and he swung her straight and true, and he dropped his loop around the devil's horns, and he took his dallies too. Now Buster Jiggs was a Riata man with his gut line coiled up neat, so he shook her out and he built him a loop and lassoed the devil's fine feet. Whew, there's a lot of words in this thing. Then they stretched him out and they tied him down while the irons was a-getting hot, and they lopped and swallered, forked his ears, and branded him a lot. Then they cut his horns with a dehorn saw and knotted his tail for a joke, and then rid off and left him there right next up to a blackjack oak. So if you're ever in the Sierra Peaks and you hear some kind of a wail, you'll know it's the devil, just a fella running around with a knot tied in his tail. That's another one Glenn Orland did. Glenn said one time that he heading out to Cody, Wyoming, where the Buffalo Bill Museum is. They would have him come out there about once a year and play music for a few days, play his old cowboy songs. And he was heading up there one time, and he stopped in Sheridan, Wyoming, on his way to Cody. He was in the Mint Bar there in Sheridan, which is really a neat place. I've been there myself, and he was having a drink, and this old Indian, this old Shoshone Indian, was in there, and he came up to Glenn, and he said, he sat down at the table. He said, "Tell you what," he said, "I'll tell you a riddle, and if you get it right, I'll buy you a beer, and if you don't get it, you buy me a beer." Glenn thought, well, it only cost me a beer. "Okay, what is it?" The Indian said, "It's my mother's child, but it's not my brother, and it's not my sister. Who is it?" Glenn thought for a little while, and finally he said, "I don't know, who is it?" The Indian said, "It's me." So Glenn bought him a beer, and then he went on to Cody, and he got over to Cody, and he run into Waddy Mitchell over there at the museum, and he thought, well, I'll try this out on Waddy. So he said, "Hey, Waddy, I'll tell you a riddle, and if you get it, I'll buy you a beer, and if you don't get it, you buy me a beer. Whitey said, okay. What is it? Glenn said, it's my mother's child, but it's not my brother, and it's not my sister. Who is it? Whitey thought for a while. Finally said, I don't know. Who is it? Glenn said, some Shoshone Indian back there in Sheridan. Yeah, boy. Let's see what else I can do here. The kind of trouble we can get into. Oh yeah, let's do something with the banjo. I've been playing enough guitar for you. If I play the banjo, it'll make the guitar sound so much better. I ain't got no use for your red rocking chair. I ain't got no honey baby now. I ain't got no sugar baby now. And it's all I can do, all I can say. Take it to your mama next payday. Take it to your mama next payday. And it's all I can do, all I can say. Take it to your mama next payday. Take it to your mama next payday. Who'll rock the cradle? Who'll sing your song? Who'll rock the cradle when you're gone? Who'll rock the cradle when you're gone? Well, I'll rock the cradle, I'll sing your song. I'll rock the cradle when you're gone. I'll rock the cradle when you're gone. And I ain't got no use for your red rocking chair. I ain't got no honey baby now. I ain't got no sugar baby now. Some old rounder came along with his mouth full of song. Rounder came and stole my jelly roll. Rounder came and stole my jelly roll. And I ain't got no use for your red apple juice. Living on corn whiskey now. Living on corn whiskey now. And I ain't got no use for your red rocking chair. I ain't got no honey baby now. I ain't got no sugar baby now. I ain't got no honey baby now. Thank you. That's a song you hear bluegrass groups doing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but it's kind of nice to just slow it down a little bit. Okay, here's a... I've been doing some songs earlier by James Keelahan. Great songwriter, man. Writes great songs. I know a bunch of his songs. Here's one of my absolute favorites. Pick here. Oh. Wrong guitar. Thank you. Thank you very much. You would have leaped on stage and grabbed it if it started to go over, I hope. All right, all right. James wrote this song after he had a conversation with his mother about the high incidence of mortality amongst women who were bearing children back in the days before modern medicine. It's called Jenny Bryce. This morn as I was lost in thought, as up the hill I wandered, back along the shaded stream where with my love I'd wandered, glanced along the shaded grove where often I have been with Jenny Bryce. Jack the Rover's daughter, sweet Jenny Bryce, Jack the Rover's daughter. Family came of tinker stock, baptized by flowing water. Old Jack, he was disposed to roam, and so his only daughter. And me, a lad of 17, left my parents' home for Jenny Bryce. Jack the Rover's daughter, sweet Jenny Bryce, Jack the Rover's daughter. Wooded glen and heathered moor with Jenny I went roving. Her voice so sweet made soft the road from daylight till day's closing. And when at night I laid to rest, 'twas in my true love's arms, Jenny Bryce. Jack the Rover's daughter, sweet Jenny Bryce, Jack the Rover's daughter. One day she said, "Oh, Willie, I weary of the road, so a fine small house I built for us down in yon shaded grove. And there with Jenny by my side I led a settled life, with Jenny as companion and as wife." One day she said, "Oh, Willie, a child for us I bear, and all that winter long I worked and helped her to prepare. But none but God could help her for a birth such as she saw, and Jenny Bryce. She bore for us a daughter, she was Jenny Bryce. She bore for us a daughter." Six tortured hours she lingered and never once complained. All that I could do for her I did to ease her pain. When morning came I formed a cross and carved on it her name. I carved Jenny Bryce. Jack the Rover's daughter, sweet Jenny Bryce, Jack the Rover's daughter. This morn as I was lost in thought, as down the hill I ambled, back along the shaded stream where with my love I rambled, to greet a child of 7 years who bears her mother's name. She is Jenny Bryce. Jenny Bryce's daughter, sweet Jenny Bryce, Jenny Bryce's daughter. Thank you. No. Keelahan, yeah. Yeah, Garnet covered it. Yes, that's right. But Keelahan wrote it. Yes, let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah. I was sitting at home thinking I ought to write a song. And there's there was a train that ran not far from where I live now, up the middle fork of the Little Red River, back from about 1910 until 1946. And now it's gone. And just the railroad beds left, and a few of the trestles are left. I thought I'll write a spooky song about trains. And then I went in and put on a CD that a friend of mine had just given me, and here was this song, and I thought, dang, it's already been done. Let's see, I'm trying to remember how I do this. I think I finger pick it. Yeah, that's where it is, yep. Jenny was a little girl, she always dreamed of trains. She never played with dolls or other pretty things. Jenny counted boxcars instead of counting sheep. She could travel anywhere when she was asleep. All that she could dream about was getting on to ride. She was living in another world, you could see it in her eyes. Every day after school, she'd head down to the track, looking for a train that was never coming back. Jenny dreamed of trains when the night time came. Nobody knew how she made it come true. But Jenny dreamed of trains. The station's all boarded up, the tracks have turned to rust. There hasn't been a train through here since the mill went bust. Nobody asked her how she heard the trains. She was just a little girl acting kinda strange. But Jenny dreamed of trains when the night time came. Nobody knew how she made it come true. Jenny dreamed of trains. Jenny put a penny on the track one day. In God we trust. And she walked away. Very next morning, all that she could find was a little piece of copper, squashed flatter than a dime. Jimmy dreamed of trains when the night time came. Nobody knew how she made it come true. Jenny dreamed of trains. Nobody knew how she made it come true. But Jenny dreamed of trains. Thank you. Oh, let's see what else I've got here. Oh, yeah. There it is. Bring the pick. Maybe a little out of tune here. Let's see. Excuse me a minute while I fix this. Okay. How did it get so flat? Oh, I know. Put the strings on it day before yesterday. There we go. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. Oh, when I was a little bitty boy, just up off of the floor, we used to go down to Grandma's house every month end or so. We'd eat chicken pie and country ham, homemade butter on the bread. But the very best thing about Grandma's house was a great big feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and as soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 4 and 11 geese, took a whole bolt of cloth for the tick. It'd hold 8 kids and 4 hound dogs and a piggy that we stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. After supper, we'd sit around the fire, the old folks would spit and chew. Pa would talk about the farm and the war, and Granny'd sing a ballad or two. Well, I'd sit and listen and watch the fire till the cobwebs filled my head. Then the next thing you know, I'd wake up in the morning in the middle of the old feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and as soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 4 and 11 geese, took a whole bolt of cloth for the tick. It'd hold 8 kids and 4 hound dogs and a piggy that we stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. Now I love my ma and I love my pa, I love Granny and Grandpa too. I've been fishing with my uncle and I wrestled with my cousin and I even kissed Aunt Lou. Ugh, but if I ever had to make a choice, I guess it ought to be said, I'd trade 'em all plus the gal down the road for the great big feather bed. I'd trade 'em all plus the gal down the road for the great big feather bed. Song. Sean Camp helped write this song. He was here at the Folk Center just a while back. It's called Soldier's Joy, 1863, and it kind of starts with this old famous old fiddle tune called Soldier's Joy, which goes. Soldier Joy had another name during the Civil War. That's what they called morphine, because it was the only relief there was, and they had just come up with morphine. It was a new thing in the armies, but anyway, that was their version of Soldier's Joy. So. First I thought a snake had bit me, it happened mighty quick. There was a bullet bit my leg and right off I got sick. I came to in a wagon load of 10 more wounded men. 5 was dead by the time I reached that bloody tent. Give me some of that soldier's joy, you know what I mean. I don't want to hurt no more, my leg is turning green. Doctor come and he looked at me, this is what he said. Your dancing days are over, son, it's a good thing you ain't dead. Then he went to work with a carving knife, sweat fell from his brow. About killed me trying to save my life as he dug that lead ball out. Give me some of that soldier's joy, ain't you got no more? Hand me down my walking cane, I ain't cut out for war. It's there somewhere. Man. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. The red blood run right through my veins. It run all over the floor. It run right down his apron strings like a river out the door. He handed me a bottle, son, said, drink all that you can. He
Turned away and then he turned right back with a hacksaw in his hand. Give me some of that soldier's joy, you know what I like. Bear down on that fiddle, boy, just like it's Friday night. Give me some of that soldier's joy, you know what I crave. I'll be a-hitting that soldier's joy until I'm in my grave. Not a super happy song, is it? That's another minor tune. Oh, yeah. Gresham, you want to heat up the projector there? Okay, you say it'll take a couple of minutes? It's ready? Okay, we're going to have a little sing-along here. This is the first time I've sung this song on a stage, so we'll see how it turns out. But it's a really neat song, and it is a sea shanty. So and everybody can sing on this. It's a sea shanty, so you don't have to be a great singer on this. It's in a minor key, but don't worry about that. We'll just sing it. Let's do the chorus. Let's see how it goes. I'll sing the line, and then you all sing. That way we can get everybody singing, okay? Soon may the wellerman come, soon may the wellerman come, to bring us sugar and tea and rum, to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, one day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go, we'll take our leave and go. Oh boy, this is gonna work. Let's see here. Get my guitar up here. All right, here we go. There once was a ship that sailed the sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy of Tea. The wind blew up and the bow dipped down, and blow, you bully boys, blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. They had not gone 2 weeks from shore when down on them a right whale bore. Our captain called the crew and swore, we'll take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. You know, I should stop right here and explain a couple of things. The wellerman brothers in New Zealand started a business in the 1830s to resupply whaling ships, because these whaling ships would leave like Nantucket, and they'd be gone for 3 years, traveling around the world, killing whales. So the Wellerman brothers had these ships that were stocked up with all the stuff that they needed, and they'd just go around in the ocean. Whenever they see a whaling ship, they'd stop there and trade with them, give them their stuff they needed, like tea and sugar and rum. Tonguing is kind of gross, but that's what they called it when they stripped the hide off the whales, these big gobs of blubber, because they'd come off in a big thing about yay wide. It looked like a tongue when it came off. So I know this is all kind of grim. And I certainly don't promote whaling, because it was a terrible thing. They seemed like there were, an endless supply of whales back in the mid-1800s, but now they're mostly all gone. Okay? All right. Now that we've had that, let's see what else we can do here. The boat had not yet hit the water when the whale's tail came up and got her. All hands to the side, harpooned and fought her. She dove down below. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not on greed, but he was one of the sailorman's creed. He took that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. Someday when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. All boats were lost, there were only for 40 weeks or maybe more. The line went slack, then tight once more. All boats were lost, there were only 4. Still that whale did go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on, the whale's not gone, and the whale's not gone. Wellerman makes their regular call to encourage the captain, crew, and all. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Very good, you guys. It sounded great. Yeah. Yes. Do an old song. I played for years at the Ozark Folk Center, where we had to do songs that were written before the year 1940, and a lot of them much older. And, this is one. It's a good old novelty song from probably the 1920s. I wish that you could see the gal I took to a fancy ball. The span around her little waist was neat and very small. I thought about 2 oysters would fill her up complete. Such a dainty little delicate thing, but this is what she eat. A dozen raw, a plate of slaw, and a fancy Boston roast. A bowl of stew with crackers too, and soft crab served on toast. Next arrived some oysters fried. I thought she had more sense. When she called for a pie, I thought I'd die, for I had but 50 cents. She said she wasn't hungry, she didn't care to eat, but I got money in my pants to say she can't be beat. She took it in so easy, she had an awful tank. She said she wasn't thirsty, but this is what she drank. A brandy gum, hot buttered run, 3 schooners of lager beer, a glass of ale and a gin cocktail. They quickly disappeared. Then a whiskey skin and a glass of gin. She astonished all the gents. When she called for more, I fell to the floor, for I had but 50 cents. You can bet I wasn't hungry. I didn't care to eat, expecting any moment to be kicked out in the street. She said she'd bring her family along next time we went for fun. I give the man my 50 cents, and this is what he done. He broke my nose, he tore my clothes, he threw me through the door. I won the prize with 2 black eyes. With me he mopped the floor. Then he grabbed me where my pants hang loose, and he threw me right over the fence. Take my advice, don't try it twice if you have but 50 cents. I see this young lady down here in the front row looking at her watch, because I know that she has to work tomorrow. And so she's get up at 4:30. So I'm going to do one. Well, who cares about him? But I'm going to do one more song here, and then we'll all go home. Thank you so much for coming out and listening to me tonight. I really appreciate it. It would have been really lonely here without all you folks. All right, now I'm in this dad-gad tuning. There's y'all know about the Buffalo River? Unstunningly beautiful place. Now it's a national river, protected forever, we hope. Back in the 1960s, the Corps of Engineers, who were crazy about building dams, they wanted to build a couple of dams on the Buffalo and dam it up, and it would be like, Marshall would be like Heber Springs now, you know, and it would just be commercialized to death. And instead, it's this wonderful, pristine place. Kind of being loved to death, but that's because it's such a lovely place. And a group called the Ozark Society fought really hard to save the buffalo, and it was really mostly they are responsible for the buffalo being there today in the way it is. I was really fortunate to get to sing this song here to Dr. Neil Compton, who started the Buffalo Society, or the Ozark Society. And this is a song by James Keelahan called River Run. river of blue, cut through the valley, swept past the willows and the sandy bar, ran so swift, lost in my memory, but the way things were is not the way things are. We used to swim in the crook of its arm in the summer's meet, who could be blamed? Avoided the rapids as best as we could, never thought that that stream could be tamed. Long ago I gave up that riverside valley, traded coolies for towers of steel, abandoned the vistas and valleys of childhood for the things that they told me were real. No more would I run with the speed of a colt, cross the water, cross the gravel down by waterside, race with a twig I threw in at the bend. Couldn't catch it, though God knows I tried. Now the river's not running as fast as it could. There's a dam restricting the flow. And I don't run either as fast as I could. Seems that river and I have grown old. It's strange in returning to places of youth. Seems your memory has made a mistake, 'cause the place that once scared you with white water running has been turned by decree to a lake. No more would makes me think about how I smoothed out the wrinkles, made the waters as calm as you please. Makes me think about how that river and I were both happier when we ran free. Now the river's not running as fast as it could. There's a dam there restricting the flow. And I don't run either as fast as I could. Seems that river and I have grown old. Thank you very much, folks. I'm Dave Smith, and thanks for listening tonight.